In 1994, in 1994 was probably the year that I spent the most time in training in the Army. The end of 93 into 94, I was doing basic training. Then I did air assault school. I did, I went to Fort Sam Houston for combat medic. And then I did the stint for flight medic training. So I could do air crew flight medic for dust off. So 94, like 10 out of 12 months, I was in training in the Army. So 1994, not a lot happened for me, but apparently for Calva Louise, it's number 11, whatever this place is, but it's going to be crazy. This is called Impeccable by Calva Louise. We're going back to 1994, at least at the beginning of this video. I have no idea. O.J. Simpson in 1994. Oh my God. They can't be referencing to that. There's no way. There's no way that they could be referencing to that. Yeah, Calva Louise is a global band based out of the UK. So, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All right, are we ready? It was the year that Jess was born. That's right. The lead singer of Calva Louise was born in 94. That could be. Anybody seen Rosemary's Baby? For those who don't know, Rosemary's Baby was a song. Isn't that the one where Rosemary's Baby is the one where like the neighbors have like the baby and then the neighbors, and it's a horror movie from like 68. Yeah. It's 1968. So yeah. That was a weird reference. That was a long shot, but it's okay. It's okay. Here we go. My reaction to the new Calva Louise, Impeccable. You know what? If she's saying that the year she was born was 1994, and her musical talent and her career and who she is as a musician is impeccable, that's kind of a daunting statement that took a lot of balls. But it's Calva Louise, and I got to be honest with you, she might be right, but I doubt she's that. Yeah, she's not that egotistical. Let's go. Spooky.
Walking on the edge of the abyss between death and life. You may go to the right or to the left, as long as you don't fall down. You shall remain one step ahead, always along the edge. You shall remain one step ahead, always along the edge.
Remember Prodigy? Does anybody know when okay, Prodigy Smack My, yeah, that was released in 1997. I immediately started to get vibes from that Remember that? This is the story of Johnny. Okay. By the way, Johnny's the older gentleman that's been in their videos. He's their landlord, like Mr. Roper. What? See, Fred's dropping information in this that I didn't know. That's, yeah. Okay, so this is a story of their landlord, Johnny. Cool. It does have that Prodigy vibe. 1997, Smack My B Up, where, yeah, the whole, yeah, that, yeah. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Days earlier. This video is bananas. Through my brain, here's some of the thoughts that I start having. Go with me if you're old like me. I start having Star Trek II Wrath of Khan's The Worm in the Ear, right? When they pulled the... I also start having Matrix. Remember Matrix? When they pulled Neo out and they had the thing that went up down the mouth, up the nose or whatever, went into the belly button. It was like the probe that they pulled out of him. Yeah, that. I'm having Prodigy video vibes. Yeah, I'm having so many crazy vibes, so many different thoughts of really creative thoughts from my experiences in my life that are echoing in this video, because the video is very 90s feeling, but it's right where the mouth disappears, the eye there's so many things, like it's alternate reality. You're like in a dreamscape, but is it real? You don't know it's real. Yeah, exactly. 3 days later, let's go. Yeah, my brain is ruining this reaction. Trying to react to another amazing song by Calva Louise because it's so freaking good. But my brain and experiences and my level of nerddom in my brain is not letting me enjoy this the way I should. That's a me problem. That's not you, that's me. Ow.
Ya no me aferro a la obsesión de la razón. Ya no acepto los pensamientos que controlan mi atención. Ya no hay nada que me impida atravesar el oscuro mar de la conciencia. Acepto lo que me espera para así poder cruzar el umbral. I shall remain one step ahead. I shall be ready for the
All right, just like Aimless, which for some reason is now playing, well, we're gonna back that up. It's okay. All right, so Impeccable. Hey, if you're gonna go from one Calva Louise song to another, go for it. The complete brain imaginative chaos that is a Calva Louise video is obviously evident here. This is the thing that gets me. Fred made a very good point in my chat. In the early 90s, okay, for those in the 50s and the 60s and into the 70s, mushrooms, LSD, acid was really booming in that time. Kind of went away in the 80s. You had the crack epidemic, cocaine became huge. Marijuana kind of flowed through the drug culture this whole time, but in the early 90s, designer drugs came out. Not just ecstasy, but there were a bunch of different designer drugs that were being developed through modern chemistry. And that whole subculture was there, and it became so explosive. I have friends of mine who back in the 90s owned clubs, bars and clubs, dance clubs. And it was such a bad situation, they stopped selling alcohol at the club and would sell bottled water for $5 a bottle because they couldn't sell alcohol because the designer drug culture had exploded so much. You couldn't mix alcohol with these designer drugs because these people were hard tripping, and the alcohol, they would OD. Like, it was really bad, right? So you had that rave culture exploded in the early 90s, and it just kind of went from there. And so when you're talking about 1994, a lot of these different tropes and this complete chaos of the mind, there's a lot of different themes in here. We start thinking about things like the video from Prodigy, right? Those Prodigy videos that were all like this. It was all like he or she is in this complete euphoric, drug-induced, chaotic, acid trip state. That was the culture in the 90s in clubs. Ravers would go to these clubs, do these designer drugs, and just drink water, no alcohol, because yeah, it was huge back then. I was never a part of it because I was in the military, and I've never done drugs in my life. I don't do alcohol. I don't do any of that stuff. Huge nerd. But yeah, I totally get that whole vibe to it. I don't know if that's what they're talking about here, because honestly, it's Calva Louise. For all we know, they could be talking about an alien invasion, and we could be totally on the mark. I don't know. It's Calva Louise. But just like everything they've done so far, every video has been expertly done. Jess is doing something so unique. She's so damn creative. All three of the members of Calva Louise musically are just so damn solid. I don't know where she draws all of her creative forces from, but there is a mix of cultural experience, just a global knowledge, and you can feel that Spanish influence, Spanish cultures from South America. You can feel that in this, especially when she does that Spanish spoken word part. There's imagery, religious imagery, occultish imagery, nuance imagery, superstitious stuff, but at the same time, it's very modern and chic. To me, Jess is like early Guy Ritchie films, but music videos. I think that's a pretty good compliment. And I'm going to say this one more time. To me, based upon all of the Calva Louise videos that I've come up for, Jess, who's directed and created a lot of this stuff, Jess to me is the music video version of early Guy Ritchie films. Super creative, super catchy, super cool. and swag, but in some ways very, very dark. And it's amazing. There you go. Calva Louise Impeccable. And my brain went everywhere with this one. I was probably wrong on 98% of it. But I think that's the way it's supposed to be. I think we're supposed to be left guessing. And that's a good thing. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that one. And with that, see you on the next one. Holy crap. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a like. It really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to subscribe, right over there. A big thank you to all my Patreons out there for everything you do. And if you want more content like this, check them out above. Remember, love one another, take care of each other. We're all stuck on this smoke ball together. We'll see you later.